Hello and welcome back. We're about to play our 9th session of the Walking Dead universe role-playing game. If you are new to this, thank you very much for joining us. You have 8 other sessions to catch up on. If you are a reoccurring viewer, awesome. Thank you so much for coming back and following the story. If you're a reoccurring viewer who hasn't subscribed, why? Why on earth not? Just subscribe. Click. One extra number. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much. I am so grateful for your support. Thank you so much indeed. We've recently hit, in fact I just recorded a little video, we've recently hit 500. In fact I think it's probably more than that now. I am so grateful, thank you so much indeed. It's an awesome milestone to hit. When I started this I didn't think anyone was going to watch it all, but anyway, thank you so much indeed. So again, if you have subscribed, thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. It really does help us out. If you like what you see, please hit that thumb and let the whole world know how much you like it. And you have any comments, any input whatsoever, just let me know in the comments below and we can all discuss what you have to say. So we left our 2 survivors, Simon and Kai, returning back from the village, the river village with the river people at the edge of the Nepean. I keep saying it wrong. I think it's Nepean, N-E-P-E-A-N, Nepean. The Nepean River to the west of Penrith. Let me show you where it was. And as we returned back, we decided to return back via a different route than we had left to do a bit of exploring. So the outpost is over here. And we returned back in a different way through here. And on the return back, Light Horse Junction, it's a really big junction with loads of bridges going over each other. We attempted to take a shortcut over that. The bridge had been weakened, possibly in aerial bombing run, possibly just through structural integrity breakage due to it not being looked after over the last year or so. But whatever happened, the bridge started to collapse under us. We reversed, I did the gear change again. We reversed, pressed the button, pushed the gear stick. We reversed quite quickly, but in the process of doing that, Simon smashed into a car, caused a large amount of noise and basically highlighted our presence to a whole bunch of walkers, and we triggered a level 4 swarm. So we triggered a level 4 swarm. So at the moment we are dealing with a level 4 swarm. Now what I mentioned at the end of last session was that we would start moving towards the end, the beginning of the end, or the end game. Basically, if you're thinking of this as a TV series, which is how the book pretty much presents it, which is pretty awesome, we are reaching the end of the first arc. So kind of what we did, if you haven't watched the Twilight 2000, I will put a link up. Where are we? It'll be up there. I'll put a link up there for the Twilight 2000 and you can go check those out. We did an arc, it was 20 episodes, 20 episode arc, and we basically finished the arc and led into another arc of story, which I will do in maybe about 10 weeks time. We'll do the same with this. So this is the way the book and the solo game is set up to run. I haven't really read the other rules, but I think it does the same thing. And that is, we have the beginning and the end. So the trigger for the end is when you mess up and you roll on the messing up oracle and you get a roll of between 51 and 66. Part of that will say the end is triggered. So we will start doing that. Once we trigger the end, we will then roll on some theme tables and we'll work out what it is. Now we have some potential ends involving the Norsemen, who only have surfaced a few times during our story, but we will then get them to surface a lot more if they trigger as part of the end story. But every time I roll a walker from now on, we will be rolling on the oracle, messing up oracle, to see if we trigger the end. Back to this. So what we're in a situation now where Kai and Simon are backs against the car. The bonnet is up and Simon has got his tools out and was attempting to do a tech repair roll for the car. A threat level of 4 basically says the walkers are closing in on you, which is what we've already described. Now what we have is, because we went through swarm size 3, as soon as we swarm size 3, we have all PCs present take 1 point of stress, which gives Simon, who had 0 stress, 1 stress. So obviously it makes sense. You leave the car, Kai saying, Simon, Simon, and then all these walkers sort of appear, stress then builds up. So to fight a swarm, I don't know if you remember how we did that with fighting the swarm, but you have to try and edge the swarm down from 4 to 3, and then once you hit 2 it starts to dissipate. And once you're fighting the swarm, there's certain skills you can and can't use. In a swarm level 4, you can use force, mobility or ranged combat to fight the swarm. You can't endure use stealth, i.e. you can't sneak away from a level 4 swarm. They know where you are and they're coming for you. You can't sneak away. Once we've edged it down, we might be able to use stealth to help to sneak away from them. We also have the fact that what's in the car, we want to be able to get out. So we would need to, I mean, there's several things. We could just try and run away, which is using mobility. But if we run away, then we're stranded somewhere where we don't want to be, and we're going to have to start moving by foot to try and get back to Marsden Park, and then get back to the Haven ultimately, which is going to take ages. We could attempt to fix the car, but there's only 2 of us taking on a swarm. Now, how you take on a swarm is you have to make 3 rolls, which means one of us is going to have to roll twice and then get a minus on it. So to start off with, I think we're going to fight the swarm and then we'll see what happens after that point. So at the moment, both Kai and Simon are uninjured. We do have a map, which isn't going to help us in this situation. We have a sledgehammer, we have assault rifles. Fighting wise, we're probably better off with close combat. We can do mobility, which is dodging around. But anyway, let's see what happens. So first off, the zombies that's closing in, there is from in amongst the cars that are all smashed up at the base of the Lighthorse Junction bridge. There's a pile of cars. We were swerving around them. As the bridge collapsed, we reversed back, hit a car, our car stalled, and then there were just bodies starting to appear from behind cars, in bushes, and they're walking up the rampway, up the way to come in, and basically we're being swarmed by these, and we're backing up against the car to try and protect our backs, and then just fight our way and try and thin the herd, thin it down as best as we possibly can, which would just create bodies in front of us, and then we'll have to deal with it. So first off, we've got, if just 2 characters face a swarm of walkers, they still make 3 skill rolls, with one of them rolling twice. The second of those rolls gets a -2 modifier, which would be -2 dice. So Kai, where's Kai's? Kai doesn't have training in anything useful. She's got training in medicine and training in manipulation, but not in combat, not in mobility, not in anything. So that gives her 4 dice. So we need to get, in the first pass, 4 successes. Now, if I use one of my rolls to make a tech roll, that will give her a -2, which will give her only 2 dice on one roll, and then a -1, which -3, which gives her basically, would say just 1 roll to do. So we can't do that. So I would use 2 rolls. So we've got, now do I roll the stress dice with this? I think so. Yeah, I think we do. Okay, so Simon's going to go first. Simon is going to roll first, then Kai will roll, then Simon will make his next roll. So Simon is going to step forward, and at the moment we're just going to fight. At the moment with a level 4 swarm, we can use force, mobility or ranged combat. Force or close combat, force, mobility or ranged combat. We can't use close combat with a level 4 swarm. So force will give us a 5, ranged combat gives us a 4. So I think we're going to use force. So what would mobility be? Mobility would be a 5 as well. So to start off with, Simon is going to push them away as they're closing in, which would be for Simon a 5, a 3. So he can't even get his pluses through his, so he gets 1 stress dice, he gets 2 for force, and 3 for his strength. So this is Simon attempting to push forward. We need 4 successes. We get no successes from that. Okay, so Simon gets no successes from that. Now, Kai only has 4 dice. Come on, Kai. She gets 1 success. So on round 1, We get 1 success so far. Well, we've got to do 4, so we've got 1 done. Now, Simon will go 3 for his agility, 2 for mobility, and he's got his 1 stress dice. But this takes a -2 modifier because it's his second roll. So they're swarming into us, they're pushing it in close. Oh, wow. We get 3 successes, which isn't enough. So let me just look this up. So we've got the swarm size is 4, the threat level is 4. So the swarm size is 4 means that we have that there is 50 to 100 zombies starting to come up. So it's a big herd, which means that we need to reduce that down, which means, I think I've reread this. So basically we need to get a total number of successes equal to or greater the swarm threat. The swarm threat is calculated round by round by adding the swarm size to the current threat. So that would give us needing 8 successes. All right, I don't know if we could possibly do that. So I think I've misunderstood this. So having the threat of 4, I'm happy with. I think I'm going to downsize the threat, the swarm size. 20 zombies would still be a lot for 2 people to take on, wouldn't it? So that would still give us 6 needed. And this says, get a total number of successes equal to or greater than the swarm threat. All right, so this is okay, so we'll keep it the same and we'll see what happens. We'll keep it the same and we'll see what happens, which means the swarm size is 4 and the swarm threat is 4, which means that we need 8 successes. Now the swarm 1, which means the swarm will attack. So we do a random swarm attack, which is we roll a d6. A 2, a single attack. A single walker attacks your PC or an NPC with a single attack, page 80. Roll a random die to see who's targeted. 1 to 3, it's Simon. 3, it's Simon. So Simon gets a walker attack, which means that we roll on the walker attack table, which is a d66. Blacks. They come after you, but you got away, take 1 point of stress. So Simon goes to 2 points of stress. Simon is at 2 points of stress. A walker lunged at him, but he ducked out of the way. Right, so next round. So we don't need 4, we actually need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So Simon gets 2 stress dice. We have still got a threat level of 4, which means we can still use force, mobility or range. So mobility or force is our best, so then we'll use 3 dice for our agility, 2 dice for mobility, as Simon is attempting to duck and dive. We're looking for 8 hits for our second round. We've got 1 hit. Okay, that's no good. That's no good at all. We might need to work out how to do a desperate escape. All right, now we've got Kai, who has 4 for hers, which is she can't do anything. She's just slashing around with a baseball bat. Nothing. And then we've got, can we push? Like Kai obviously can't, but we might be able to. And then we lose 2 because it's our second roll. And then we can't get, oh, hold on. We do get, because we almost made it, if you fail the roll but get at least half the successes you need to beat the walkers, you have accomplished something helpful. Even if you still lose round, get 1 extra success in the next round. So if we get 2 more successes, then we'll get another success to carry forwards. Whoops. Yes. So we get, oh no, that's 1 more success. Nothing. Okay, so we get another thing happens. 3, which is a walker attack. 1 to 3, Simon. Against Kai. 56. A walker attack. Kai. 56. They bite you several times in the back. Within D6 hours, you are dead. Okay, so Kai is bitten, and Kai is starting to bleed profusely as Kai is bitten. Simon is going to have to run away. Will Simon leave Kai behind? Oh, what's Simon's? So Simon's got an empathy of 4, but he is under stress. Is Simon going to desert Kai? Well, Kai's dead because Kai's been bit several times. Will Simon, so, okay, there are no hits there at all. So Simon is going to attempt to desert Kai. So Kai is going to be left behind and Simon is going to attempt to just run, which means that he will take what he's got on him, I think, and he will run and try and go somewhere. So Simon will run. I guess he's got the moral flexibility. We didn't do, well, one thing we didn't do is we didn't do a dearly departed at the beginning of this, which is weird really, isn't it? I think we now know who the dearly departed is for. Drat. Okay, so it is the zombie apocalypse. We did start to arrange all this stuff. The car and the tools, Simon is going to have to leave, which means he's also going to lose the stove. Let's say he's got the map on him, he's got a knife on him, he's got his sledgehammer in hand, and he'll have the flashlight on him. But the stove thing, he will lose. Simon is going to attempt to run, okay? He's going to just panic. Let's give him, he's going to have an extra stress dice because Kai is going down and Kai is his anchor. All right, so he's going to be anchorless for a while. Simon is going to run as fast as he can. Now, there's a thing to the south and there's Costco's to the north. I think he's just going to leg it. He's going to try and head north as best as he can. Now, what it says here is desperate escape. A lone PC who's surrounded by walkers may try to postpone death by finding a place to hide, like inside an abandoned tank or under a dumpster. The PC is safe for the moment but cannot do anything but hope to be rescued. This requires a mobility roll. If successful, the PC is safe for the moment, but the walkers are still there and they won't go anywhere. The fate of the PC is now in the GM's hands. Well, we don't have a GM, do we? We have me. I mean, we do have this losing to a swarm table. The threat level is increased by 1, which we didn't do that. The best advice, it says here, is to run. Losing to swarm. If you're fighting a swarm and you lose to the dead, roll d6 and compare to the table right. So we had 2 attacks, which would be rolling a 6. Otherwise, we've got the threat level is increased by 1 or the swarm size is increased by 1. I mean, we could keep going trying to fight it, but I don't think that's possible. All right, let's give Simon an input. Simon who has got, there is always a way, there's always a chance, morally flexible. Simon is going to desert Kai. So there is one thing here. There is one sacrificing another. At the start of a round, 1 or more PCs can try to sacrifice someone else to the walkers to get away. Make an opposed roll for false. If you win, you are out of the fight, while the victim must roll for the walker attack table. If you lose, you must roll on the table. The false roll counts as one of the 3 rolls you are allowed as a group. Okay, so Simon, seeing Kai get bit several times, is basically going to sacrifice Kai and run. Which will then have to look up what happens to Simon after the fact, and Simon will then have to head back to Marsden Park and try and explain himself to the fact that that's if Simon survives it. Otherwise, we're going to have to switch to the Major and Anne and roll them up as characters, I guess, because Kai is done. So Simon is going to attempt to. So it says to make a false check. Okay. So Simon is going to do an opposed false roll against Kai. Kai has 4 dice. So this is Simon's. We've got a walker, so Simon gets 1 hit, but a walker, so we'll roll on the messing up table. And this is Kai's. If Kai wins this, Simon might die and Kai might survive. Well, Kai gets 1, so they're fighting against each other for now. Simon will push that roll, which means his stress goes up to 4. We've already got a walker that we need to roll. So we've got 4, and then we've got his 2, and then we've got his 3 for strength. So he is going to push it and attempt to re-roll. He gets 3 successes by pushing. So Simon, they're struggling against each other. Kai's struggling against Simon. Kai's bleeding in the black. Kai's looking into Simon's face, tears pouring down her eyes, saying, "Simon, what are you doing? Simon, no, no!" as Simon just pushes her into the crowd of zombies, and she just screams, and we just see the zombies falling upon her as she's screaming and kicking. They are just being overly excited, just piling on top of her. We see a red mist form, and Simon takes that opportunity to run. Now, let's roll on the messing up table because we rolled a walker. 31. You are lost or someone important is put into danger. Okay. So he's going to just run randomly, and we will find out which sector he goes into. We'll randomly roll what sector he goes into. But first, he needs to actually escape, which is a mobility roll. So he's now just running blind. He's terrified and running. He has just killed his anchor. He's got 4 stress, and he's now going to have to get at least 1 hit. He gets no hits and 2 walkers. All right. So there's a potential that, all right, if he pushes again, he's really okay. He's gonna lose it. He's gonna push again, which gets 5 stress, and he's still gonna have to get a messing up. Let's do the mess up now. Blacks, 45. Immediately roll to handle your fear. Okay. So he immediately has to roll to handle his fear, which is page 26. He doesn't have, basically he's now terrified. He's running blind and he is terrified. We need to, when you handle your fear, wits or empathy, doesn't get +2, doesn't add stress dice. Empathy is 4, so immediately rolls 4. He must get at least 1 hit. Otherwise, we roll on the overwhelm table, which is above. 2 hits. Okay, so obviously all of his training has helped him, his psychological training, and he is all right. But now he's getting even more stress, so his stress is raised to 5. We've got 3 for agility, 2 for mobility. The zombies have now caught scent of Simon's panic. He is wide-eyed. He is terrified. I'm going to say he drops the sledgehammer. He loses his sledgehammer because in the panic he just ditches it because it's additional weight, and he is just going to start running randomly, and this is where we'll roll to if he goes to another thing. But he's just going to start running. He has no food, no water, he has bare clothes. He does have his map and he does have a knife and a flashlight, but that's it. It's coming to the afternoon and he is running. We have 1 success, so he does manage to get away, but we also have another mess up. And he's terrified now. He's definitely going to have to handle his fear by the end of the afternoon. 33. It's the same thing. You're lost or someone else is put into danger. Okay, so Simon has run blind. He is run blind and he is just running and running and running. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, of course it's 8. So we were here. We will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. D8. So how can we do a D8 without doing a D8? I'll get a D8. Hold on there. I'm a role player. I have so many dice. D8. This is where he's ending up. So he is just running blind. He's terrified. He runs and he runs and he runs, and I will make an endurance roll for him to see if he gets tired. Basically, if he fails his endurance roll, we will then give him a point of damage. But we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1 is the prison burnt out, and 8 is back in the river, people. 6. It's not good. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's running south into this area now. He's not been here before. Let's give him an endurance roll first to see if he can contain himself, because he's terrified. So we're going to give him an endurance roll first, and then we'll say whether he was going to scout. I don't think he would scout. So he's definitely got 5 dice, and he's got 0 endurance, so that's just a 3 for his strength. Oh my God, he's obviously, back in the day, he was a gym junkie and a jogger, because he contains himself fine. He's slightly out of breath, but he's been running for 45 minutes to an hour. And he has cleared space and he's gone into that sector down there. So we'll move, I'll change. So we've still got that swarm there. I'm going to change the car, which is now gone, unless he wants to try going back for it, to a person. So we've got Simon has now come down into this area here. Now that is where Rumour 1 was, and Rumour 1 was the armoury base with equipment and a swarm, with one notch left. Now he could attempt to try and sneak into the other. Now there's this milling with zombies. He needs somewhere to basically spend the night, because now he's got down here, that's all you can do in one day. Pretty sure with this system it's 1 day. For 1 day you move one square, 10 kilometre square. So he's travelled 10 kilometres, he's now knackered and he's down in there. He has no food, no water. He does know that this army base might have supplies in it, and it might have a jeep or something that he can then load up and take back to Marsden Park. I mean, this is even not contemplating the fact that Kai's now gone, that the woman he has survived the whole of this apocalypse with is gone. So he's just trying to block that from his mind from now, or just pretend that isn't happening, or just pretend that she's just going to turn up soon. Don't worry about it, it's all going to be fine. She'll turn up soon. We'll make him do another handle his fear roll by the end of the day, because he's got 5 stress at the moment, which is the break point for that. So he will not use the map for the scout roll, because we're going to say that he's not even paying attention to that. We've got 5 dice, and his wits is 3 and his scout is 2. So he's moved into this area. Is he able to notice anything? Because for all we know, we could have, like, the Norsemen are down here. This threat is of course no longer. We're going to knock that down to, let's knock it down to a 0. Oh, there is no 0. We'll knock that down to a 1. So this is his scout roll. Okay, he's got 1 hit, but we've also got another mess up. So we'll roll on the messing up table. Oh man, Kai's dead. Blacks, 24. Break or lose something important. Gear or a hostage. Or a hostage? Break or lose something. Oh, someone gets kidnapped, i.e. there's a hostage situation. Alright, so we've got his flashlight, we've got his knife, or we've got his map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Alright, flashlight. So what he doesn't notice, as he's rushing, he has tripped over several times, and in the process of tripping over, what he doesn't realise is that the flashlight has become broken and is now unusable. So if it gets dark, he's stuck. So we are now in this sector. We know, according to the map and according to other things, that there's this army base. I think I put photos up, but I'll try and find, oh sorry, you didn't see me then. I think I put photos up, but I'll try and find them again. So down around this area, it was a telecommunications base. I think it was, there's one that's functional, and there's one which is basically an antique. It's a museum history piece. But let's say that there was a base formed around that, and that because that's what we rolled, there's equipment in here, and there's the potential of there's a swarm. We've got 1 notch left. Oh, we should have rolled. Oh yeah, sorry. Let's do this. Let's do, because we didn't finish the other bit. So let's do our, now we've done that bit, let's do our solo procedure. Solo procedure, how much time elapsed? Nothing, it was 0, it was just a continuation because of where we left off. Roll for the challenge clocks. Number 1, army base, nope. What is it equal to or higher? Roll for each clock and fill in the segment if you roll above the number, no. The chapel, no. The survivalist we're going to take off. The mobile lab, yes, the mobile lab, that has gone. So we'll take that off the sheet. The lab team, the military lab team, nope. So the military lab team are there, but something happened to that viral lab. And then we've got the St. Ives swarm. 4, yes. Norsemen, they stand at 4 at the moment. Yes. Okay. Clocks, update Haven's projects, not yet. Decide on challenge, activate it, we're doing that now. Okay, so Simon is going to tempt. What did we say about that? Right, rumour 1. What did we write down about rumour 1? Rumour 1, an important location. There's a walker swarm, an overbase, overrun by walkers. There's lots of goodies and supplies. Its keywords was death, hostility, chaos. Okay, so its keywords was death, hostility, chaos. Okay, so he's moved into a new area. So when we move into a new area, we roll a double high to see if there's an encounter. A 6 gives us an encounter. No encounter. Okay, so we've moved into the area. There's no new encounter. We are going to attempt to find the base. So we've come in. So he's going to attempt to find where the base is. We'll give him a survival check to find the base because it's operating the maps and trying to work out where he needs to go. So he's looking at the map and he's trying to guide himself slowly and carefully using what skills he's got to try and find where this base is and locate it. Oh God. So he finds the base. We're rolling so many walkers. 21. Run out of resources, bullets, gas. Well, he's already out. He's out of everything anyway. Okay. He's out of food. He's out of water. He's out of luck. Okay. So he does find where the base. So from a distance, he can see the. Oh, maybe he can get binoculars. He can see where the base is from a distance. I think we're going to have. So he was wearing. So he doesn't have a sledgehammer anymore. Doesn't have an assault rifle anymore. That's all in the car. Doesn't have the assault rifles anymore. He says this has got him wearing a vest, but then I think I should have taken a -1 for those mobility rolls. So I'm taking that off as well, that he hasn't got the vest on anymore. All right, so from where his vantage point, he finds a vantage point and he can look across the base. It's a makeshift base. It's mainly got concrete barriers and some barbed wire and chain link fencing. The barbed wire and chain link fencing came down a while ago. He can definitely see a lot of walkers milling around. Now what he's going to attempt to, we could do the disguise as a walker, like catch a walker, kill a walker, smear it all over yourself job. Let's make him make a witch roll, and if he gets a hit on the witch roll, maybe with tech with 1 hit. If he gets a, do we really stress? Yeah, because he's really stressed. If we roll a success on this, then he has that idea. Walkers will not come up with messing up because this is purely having an idea. Well, he's got 3 hits. Okay, 3 hits. He says to himself, okay, how am I going to get in? What am I going to do to get in? I didn't do XP because of the carryover. Because I thought it was just a flow, so he's not going to do XP. So we'll do a double lot of XP at the end of this session, because I think if he's lucky, he's going to find somewhere to hole up for the night, and then we'll have to deal with him getting from here back to Marsden Park over the next sessions. All right, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I need to disguise myself to get through them, to get into that building and get stuff. I need food. There'll be supplies in there. There should be rations, there should be bottled water, there should be a vehicle, there might be weapons, I might get binoculars, I haven't even got a jacket. Okay, I need to find a walker. I need to find a walker, kill the walker. So he's going to basically go and try and hunt down a walker, which isn't difficult in this area because we said there's a swarm, so there's a lot of walkers milling around in this area. So I'm happy to say it's easy for him to find one wandering around. Now the difficulty would be, can he find one on its own, or can he trap one on his own? He doesn't have his sledgehammer anymore, he only has a knife. Now the knife does give him a +2 bonus, but only does 1 damage. But all he needs to get is a hit, and we can say that he killed the walker, and the walker goes down. So he needs to try and get in, he needs to get a walker. Now how can we say that he gets a walker? He needs to use, so this would be wits, so maybe he can either use survival or tech to get a walker trapped. So that's the first problem, is trapping a walker, and the second problem will be killing it, and then we can say that he can gut it and sprawl it all over himself, and then it will do an endurance roll to see if he vomits and if he can cope with it. Either way, covering himself is going to take him to 6 stress, which means that by the end of this, by tonight, he's a wreck. So, first off, can he use, let's say, because it's like hunting, isn't it? So we'll use survival, because it's hunting survival, which is 1, and then 3, and then his stress dice. He's attempting to coax a walker on its own, trap a walker on its own in a dead end, or round a corner, or somewhere where he can then just pounce it and get an advantage and try and kill it. No. Okay. So he isn't able to do it. And is he going to put on a light? Is he happy to push? No. So he's desperately trying to get a walker. I mean, that was quite a lucky roll, really. But if we push this, that gives him 6 stress dice. And that means we're really tipping into the bounds of him losing it. He's going to just trip out for a bit. Okay, so he can't get hold of a walker. He just can't manage to get one on its own. So now let's roll some oracle dice. And what we're going to say is, although he can't get 1, is he able to get more than 1? Which means that he might trigger. So basically, he can get 2 or 3. Can he find 2 or 3? This is a complication. Okay, so that means it's a complicated. So that means he can't find 2 or 3, but he can find 3 or 4. Now, 3 or 4 would then equate to a size 1 swarm. So basically, he's got 5 or so, which is a size 1 swarm. So he can go up against a size 1 swarm, which is about 4 or 5. But at the moment, we've got a threat rating of, because they don't know he's here, he's not failed at anything like that. So a threat rating, there are walkers close by, but they're not aware of you. So that would be definitely a 2. So that gives him a swarm threat of 3. So on his own, he can attempt to kill this amount of walkers with his. So that would be, if he's fighting the swarm like that, that means so if the threat level is only a 2, basically he can just go in and use whatever he likes. So he could use close combat to do this, because that gives a swarm threat of 3. Sorry, that one failed. That means I may have looked like I've adjusted, because we've got the 2 and the swarm size of 3, which means he needs 3 successes to take one out. He would get 3 rolls, a normal roll, a -2 roll, and a -4 roll. So he is going to, because he thinks this is the only way to do it. Maybe this isn't the only way to do it. All right. So what else could he do? He could try and find a car, make a tech roll to hotwire it, and then drive in and try and drive it. That's going to make noise and it's going to bring them down on him. He could attempt to stealth in, but there's a lot of them, so he's going to need a lot of successes to stealth in. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe his first instance he'll try stealthing in, sneaking in, and then if he can't get in, he'll run. But there's a lot of them, so he's going to attempt to. All right. So what's his stealth? His stealth would be a 5 plus 5, so he would get 10 dice. He's starting to run out. So basically, he can try and fight a swarm of like 4 or 5 of them, which is not a very good idea on your own. Or he can try and sneak in, which is the best idea, because he might be able to get into a building and then not trigger anything. So first off, he's going to try his best to sneak in to the compound. Let's say he needs 2 successes, 3 successes. It's almost impossible. 2 successes. Let's see what he gets. He gets 3 successes. Okay, he gets 3 successes, so he's able to get in. But he does roll a mess up. So he's in, but something happens. 56. I know what happens. Do you know what happens? 56, the end game starts. Okay, all right, so he gets in. He's into the base, but we've got the end game starting. So Simon has managed to sneak in, and he's in the base, and by the time he's deliberated and he's taken his time and it's dark, so he gets in and he is hungry. Now, what we need to do is we need to trigger the end game now. So what we'll do at the end of this session, so we'll call this the end. So Simon has got into the compound, he curls up into a small ball in a corner, He's definitely going to have to face his fears. So we'll do that first. Can he face it? What was that? That was page 26, if I remember rightly. Yep. Can he face his fear first? So it's night time. He's hungry. Let's make him make an endure roll. Can he endure the dark and the cold and the stress of everything? That gives him 5 stress dice. He's got 5 stress dice, 3 for endure. He gets, so we've already got triggered that, so he gets 2 successes. We can do that as cancelling, so 1 success. So he manages to sleep through the night, but does he get, so this is empathy, which is 4 dice. This is, can he handle his fear? He needs to get at least 1 success with this. 1 success, okay. He's, man alive, this Simon's a psychopath, or at least a sociopath. So he seems fine with the fact that he has pushed his anchor into a crowd of walkers who took her down. All right, I'm going to give him, because of this, I'm going to give him. You need to earn certain. There's a trait, okay? Outcast talents, lone wolf. You can have yourself as one of your 2 anchors. I think Simon has definitely, after today, and the number of those Handy You Feels has earned the talent lone wolf. Okay, I know normally you have to spend 10 XP, so let's say he has spent whatever XP he now earns at the end of the session. I'm not going to bother rolling it. We are giving him the talent, and it's going to cost him all the XP he's got and the XP. He has lone wolf, which means he is his own anchor. He's his own anchor because of lone wolf. You can have yourself as one of your 2 anchors. You were betrayed by someone you trusted. He betrayed himself, basically. So, end game. He goes to sleep. He's hungry, he's cold. He will explore the compound in the morning. But for now, we will say roll twice on the theme oracle, but modify your roll to a 3-6-6. Okay, so basically it means we use the first 3 tables. So we've got, this is going to be a D3, and then we've got 6-6. So we have 1-6-1. So 1-6-1, column 1, 61, detachment. Detachment, okay. Now how many do I say roll? Roll twice, okay, so we've got detachment, and then we have, whoops, 1-6-6, enslavement. Okay. Ask the Luck Oracle, has the endgame evolved from an existing challenge sheet element? If yes, examine your challenge sheet element. If no, determine the source of the endgame below. Okay, so Oracle, has the endgame, detachment, enslavement, it's the Norseman, has it originated from something we have already got? It's complicated. Okay, so it's complicated. So if we've got the endgame source, no, I reckon, so let's think, it's complicated. Well, if we roll a d6, I'll tell you what this says on the table. So 2 is a new hostile faction, or we have the Norseman. Okay, so we've got detachment, enslavement, and we've got a new hostile faction. Detachment could mean we've got, there is a new faction. Okay, so there's a new faction. So a new faction is rolling into the area from somewhere, and we're going to start seeing fights between the Norsemen and this faction. And this faction is enslaving people. So let's see. Has the detachment, Oracle roll, has the detachment enslaved Marsden Park? Yes. So this is kicked off because Marsden Park, whilst we were gone, has been taken over by the new faction. So there's going to be some skirmishes between the Norsemen and whoever this new faction is. So I'll roll up this new faction before next session, and then we'll work out who it is. So at the moment, Simon is unaware of all this. So Simon's going to try and get stuff and then head back to Marsden Park because he knows Marsden Park. and when he gets to Marsden Park, we will find out who this new faction is. All right, so I need to roll a new faction, and the end of the series. So this would be sort of so probably this feels like. So we're at session 9, so this feels like going to session 12 or 15. It feels like this series will be 12 to 15 episodes long, I think, but based on where we are now, which will then give us, so if we were doing a story arc for a TV series, we would have everything that's happening and the weird stuff that's happening, the loss, and at the same time as that loss of Kai, which would shock our audience, we're then going to introduce this new faction, as also along the lines of this new faction coming into Marsden Park, which we would encounter when we get back to Marsden Park episode 10, and then that would then lead to whatever's going to happen for the next 5 episodes, which as we don't know what's going to happen, but whoever these new people are, like we thought the Norsemen were bad, but these have to be worse. So these need to be worse than the Norse and more equipped. So there we go. So Simon is going to attempt to explore the base and not get killed. And next session we've got Dearly Parted to Kai. So that's it for session 9. Thank you very much. That, as ever, didn't go anywhere I was expecting it to, and probably places I didn't really want it to. But this is the way it rolls. Thank you so much for watching. If you have liked what you've seen, please hit the old thumb, the old like. If you have subscribed, again, thank you so much for being one of the 500 subscribers who have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, please seriously give it a consideration. It's just a couple of clicks. Why not? If you have any comments or want to give any thoughts to where you think we should go next, please whack them down into the comments bit and I will reply to them as I endeavour to try to with them all. I will see you again next week for more Walking Dead, where we will find out who the new faction is, what Simon finds in the base, and what Simon discovers when he gets back. I look forward to working that out with you. See you next week. Goodbye.